Welcome to my channel, Ethereal You. In this video, we discuss imposter syndrome and how it relates to spirituality and your connection to the light within. Imposter syndrome is a manifestation of being disconnected from your true self. When we are unawakened, we often identify with external labels, roles, and expectations that society or others place on us. This can create a disconnect between our outer persona and our inner truth. Imposter syndrome arises when we feel that our external achievements or roles don't align with our internal sense of self. Spiritually, this dissonance occurs because the deeper, authentic self, our true essence, knows that we are much more than these external identifiers. When we are unawakened or not fully conscious of our true nature, we may feel unworthy or fraudulent because we are measuring ourselves by external standards rather than recognizing our intrinsic value. The unawakened self is often characterized by a strong identification with the ego, which is the part of us that defines itself through external accomplishments, roles, and societal expectations. The ego thrives on comparison, judgment, and the approval of others. When we are unawakened, we tend to look outward for validation and self-worth, rather than inward. This outward focus creates a fragile sense of self that can easily be shaken when we don't meet the expectations we've internalized from society, family, or culture. Imposter syndrome can be seen as a symptom of this disconnection from the true self. When we feel like imposters, it's because we're living in a way that is not fully aligned with our inner truth. We may be playing roles or pursuing goals that are based on what we think we should do, rather than what genuinely resonates with our deeper being. This dissonance between our external persona and our internal essence creates feelings of inadequacy, fraudulence, and self-doubt. Spiritual awakening is the process of rediscovering and reconnecting with the true self, which transcends the ego. The true self is often described as a state of pure awareness, love, and inner peace. It is unconditioned by external circumstances and recognizes its inherent worth, independent of any roles, achievements, or social status. When we begin to awaken, we start to see through the illusions created by the ego. We realize that our worth is not dependent on what we do or how others perceive us, but rather on our intrinsic nature as spiritual beings. This realization can dissolve the feelings of being an imposter because we no longer identify with the roles or labels that once defined us. Instead, we start to live authentically, in alignment with our true self. Practices like mindfulness and self-inquiry are powerful tools for overcoming imposter syndrome from a spiritual perspective. Mindfulness helps us become aware of the thoughts and feelings that contribute to the syndrome without getting entangled in them. It allows us to observe the ego's fears and insecurities from a place of detached awareness. Self-inquiry, on the other hand, involves questioning the beliefs and assumptions that underlie imposter syndrome. By asking questions like, "Who am I?" or "What is my true nature?" we can peel away the layers of the ego and connect more deeply with our authentic self. This process can reveal that the sense of being an imposter is simply a construct of the mind, not a reflection of our true nature. As we deepen our connection with the true self, we begin to live more authentically. This means that our actions, decisions, and goals are increasingly aligned with our inner truth, rather than external expectations. When we live in alignment with the true self, the need to prove ourselves or gain external validation diminishes. We start to trust in our own path, knowing that it is uniquely ours and that it is enough. Overcoming imposter syndrome from a spiritual perspective is not about boosting the ego or gaining more confidence in our external achievements. Instead, it is about dissolving the egoic illusions that create the syndrome in the first place. It is a journey of awakening to our true nature and living in alignment with that truth. This process can be gradual and may involve moments of doubt and self-reflection. However, as we continue to grow spiritually and reconnect with our deeper self, we find that the feelings of inadequacy and fraudulence naturally begin to fade. We come to understand that we are not imposters, but rather authentic expressions of the divine, each with a unique purpose and path. In this light, imposter syndrome can be seen as an invitation to deepen our spiritual practice and reconnect with who we truly are. It can serve as a catalyst for greater self-awareness and spiritual growth, ultimately leading us to a place of inner peace, self-acceptance, and authenticity. As we awaken spiritually and reconnect with our deeper self, we begin to understand that our worth is inherent and not contingent on external validation or achievements. This inner knowing diminishes the sense of being an imposter because we start to live in alignment with who we truly are, rather than trying to fit into roles or expectations that don't resonate with our authentic self. The more we connect with our true essence, the less power imposter syndrome has.